Every market looks obvious in hindsight, but the moments that truly matter, the beginnings, the turning points, the crises, rarely feel that way when you're living through them. This podcast is about those moments, the decisions people make, the risks they take, and the lessons that only time can teach. Welcome to 20 Years of Mortgages by Mortgage Direct. Welcome back. In 2010, the market was no longer collapsing, but it certainly wasn't comfortable either. Confidence had not fully returned. Buyers were more cautious. Professionals were having to rethink how they worked. And international clients buying in Spain still required a huge amount of trust. In markets like that, one thing became very clear, very quickly: nobody succeeds alone. The right partnerships and introductions matter more, and the businesses that grow are often those that know how to connect the right people around the right client around the right time. That's exactly what today's episode is about, and to explore it, I'm joined by Erwin Hartgring, co-founder of Dream Properties International. Erwin has built his business around a very clear philosophy: listen properly, guide well, and surround the client with the right specialists at the right moment. It's a model built less on pushing property and more on building confidence, which makes it a perfect lens for 2010. Erwin, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Erwin, thanks very much for joining us today. So I'm really curious, before we start, obviously this episode is about 2010, we're coming out of the crisis, and I believe you and your wife Jacqueline moved in 2011, which to me seems very brave to come at that period. Why was that, and what were you doing before?
Yeah, actually, first of all, thanks for having me here as a part of the 20th anniversary of Mortgage Direct.
Pleasure.
Yeah, we moved out of Holland because there we're coming from. We like to have a new adventure. And for my former job, I worked at Husqvarna, which is a Swedish international company. I had every autumn in October in the south of Spain, we were gathering together with all Dutch agents for 5 days, 6 days. And then, in October, we flew back to the Netherlands after that event. And then I thought, now I'm going for 4 months under the ground because the weather, as you know, is not that good in Holland. And that was one of the main reasons, but also having a new adventure to start, which is nice. I have 2 kids at that time, 10 and 12, 2 girls. And we prepared ourselves quite good. It was not a decision in 2 seconds. And then we moved. We fell in love with Valencia because we are city guys, and found a nice school for the kids, and there we go. And it's not really the intention of starting the business we're doing now, but a new adventure. And we said, okay, we can work everywhere. Mm-hmm. That was more or less the intention. And I think also weather driven, because we like the climate here in Spain, of course. Gives you freedom, you can do what you want. So that was more or less, in short, the story you went out of Holland. Yeah.
Right. Why Valencia? I know you mentioned the weather, but anything else?
Yeah, we had a city trip there as a kind of preparation for our big step. And we knew for sure that it should be Spain. And then we were 3 or 4 days here, and then we found out, it was in November, I remember, 23rd of November, and it was 23 degrees, and we were at the beach having a drink, and he said, this is the place. And again, we are city guys, so we didn't know at that point what kind of job we will do or the company we will start it, but to be in the neighborhood of a city is a good idea anyway for clients and suppliers. So we found actually our first house in the neighborhood of Valencia, in the suburbs, because we found there the school for the girls, and we lived very close by the school, next door more or less, to give them also the confidence and etc. So, and Valencia is of course a lovely city.
Yeah. So you arrived without the intention of setting up the business that you have today, and how did that evolve?
Yeah, well, we were looking for a property, and then we get in touch with some agents, and yeah, you should know in Holland everything is very structured. There is one website for all the houses. Have already the address on the websites from the houses. Every agent has the exclusive rights of one property, so really structured. And well, in Spain, it's completely different. And so we get lost already. We're quite handy with computers, etc. And then we thought, yeah, okay, how can other people manage this? We're coming from the north of Europe, Holland, Belgium. And that was the idea of starting our business, acting as a buying agent, more or less helping people out from Holland and Belgium. And later on, also when we started our office in Valencia City Center internationally, in this complete jungle of real estate. And well, you mentioned in your introduction, it's all about confidence and trust. We started the business post-crisis, so we actually didn't know that it was that bad in Spain at that point. But yeah, we have to convince people from Northern Europe that he said, yeah, it's a good idea to invest. And then they said, yeah, but I like to do it with somebody who knows the market, but also knows how we think as Northern Europe people. So that's how we started it, and we built it up a complete network of agents we were collaborating with along the complete coastline, and marketing focused on Dutch-speaking people. Exhibitions were there, but as I already mentioned, now in Valencia City Center more internationally, and now I take a very big step, but we have now 2 offices, physical offices in Moreira and Costa Blanca North, which is also a very important area for us. And of course, our headquarters in Valencia City Center.
Yeah.
And well, we build up the team, but we build up also collaborations. Mortgage Direct, of course, is one of them. Very important to act as a one-stop shop for people. Said, okay, I can offer mortgages, insurances, of course, the right houses. We have more than 80 collaborations with local agents along the coastline, which are really the experts of the area. And yeah, and that's more or less how we act. And now we are in Moreira office. We also constructing villas together with a well-known Spanish construction company. And we do also kind of all furniture and beds and stuff. So we can really do everything. That's the most point.
I was having a look at your website, and obviously you've got the partners, like you say, the estate agents that you work with.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the other services,
Yeah.
you know, rental companies and interior designers and the legal side, you know, all the services that you just mentioned. So how did you find those relationships or collaborations?
Yeah, that's of course, checking the market. When we first started, we had a lot of collaborations of agents, real estate agents, just checked by websites and a nice telephone conversation. And then I decided to visit them all. So I was 3 months traveling in Spain along the coastline. And then we say, I think for 70% we say goodbye, because then I was visiting the office, which was looking very bad. Mm-hmm. And then I was thinking, okay, so we connect this agent to my client. This is not going to work. And now, we are more than 10 years after that. And now we really have a good network of agents. As you know, since 2 years, you need to be registered and certified as an agent as well. All my agents are working like that. That's most important, and that's also about trust and confidence. And but yeah, it's also you learn a lot. And we are not coming from real estate background in Holland, but it's listening in the end. Clients, you have to listen to your clients, but also listen to your collaborators, and then you make a decision if it fits in your organization or network or not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I've been on your website again. I'm always having a look, but trust you mentioned quite a lot, and listening to the clients. So I take it you've come across many clients who haven't been listened to and probably been influenced to buy properties that that weren't suitable for them at all.
Yeah. It's everybody have every client is different, has different wishes, different budgets, and actually, I always say we're busy the whole day with managing expectations because that's what it is. And sometimes people, for example, 400,000 euros for a property is a lot of money, but in some areas you cannot buy anything, and that's what we do as well, giving advice, and that's how we work, and we give again a lot of information via our labels, as we call it. We have different portals. Spaanse Droomhuizen, which is our flagship because that's for the Dutch-speaking market. And we have the English version, is the Dream Properties International. Everything is now gathered in a Dream Properties group. We have different portals also for Valencia because that's one of our main markets, English and also in Dutch. And it's giving advice. That's most important, that people are well structured, well prepared going into the market, because nowadays, we're now in 2026, you have to prepare yourself because you have to act quick nowadays because it's a selling market. So if there is the right property of your choice, you cannot think 2 or 3 weeks if you want to go ahead with it or not, because then somebody else will take that property for you. So it's all about trust, confidence, listening, and giving advice, that people are really prepared to move on.
Yeah. And is that your main criteria when you're looking to take on a partnership?
Yeah, actually, and that's a little bit too big what I'm telling you, but it has to fit in our DNA as well, because we approach clients in a certain way, and our agents has to fit in that. So having a nice office, know a little bit how Northern European thinks, because they think different when it comes down to real estate than Southern European people.
In what way?
Yeah, I think Northern Europe people are really focusing also on the inside of a property, because it's always, not always, most of the time it's bad weather. Yeah. So inside the house is really important, and I think people from the south are thinking the other way around. They say, it's good that we have the outdoor, should be okay, and well prepared. So they think differently. And the house for people from the north, it should be okay, solar panels on it, and in the south they think differently about that. And we are in between. We know how people from the south think, and also of course from Northern Europe. And that helps a lot to understand both cultures. Sometimes it clashes because people really don't understand how you can present a property on the internet with bad photography, not even cleaning up or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we explain, this is how it works. And then we said, you have to come over to see it, because photos is not always giving a right direction to what the property really is.
Yeah. And in terms of the languages, so obviously you offer to, the Dutch market, the Belgians and the British. Was that at the same time, or did the British come later?
The British are always there.
Okay.
There are for years and years already the biggest group of buyers, and and then due to all kind of circumstances, the Dutch-speaking market. So the Dutch are picking up. They're now the second group of buyers, which is really impressive, and that has to do with situation in Holland. People are building up or sitting on a big equity of properties, tax, government rules, etc. So people are buying a lot now, and that's a little bit the luck we have now, because yes, we are a Spanish company, but with Dutch management, and that's sometimes you're lucky. I didn't know that in 2011 that it will gonna fly that way, but that's how it goes, and we're happy with that, of course. So we have a lot of clients.
Yeah. And I suppose I'm jumping ahead here, but any opportunities for other nationalities or languages, as you do it so well?
Well, we have. In the end, you can if you look to the business, If you're coming from South America or whatever, people speaking English, so and Spanish, of course. So that's already a big market. We don't speak Chinese, but they speak English, so that helps. No, but yeah, we can service a lot of clients. Yeah, that's true. And so let's see. We have even now people on board who speak Farsi for that kind of market, because Spain is popular. Yeah, for a lot of countries to invest at the moment.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I know we've been working together for a long time now, Erwin, and originally, like you said, it was sort of Valencia, the Costa Blanca,
Yeah.
and now you go on your website and you're all over Spain.
Yeah, correct.
And that's obviously happened because of partnerships and with real estates. It's allowed you to do that.
Yeah, and demand and yeah, people again, people have different needs and different budgets, and yes, you have some popular areas nowadays. Valencia is of course popular. Cities in general are. When you look at, let's say, 2012, a lot of people are just buying a holiday home with a pool. And now we have also the urbanos, as we call them, so people who really like to live in the city, because they're used to, for example, in Holland or London or wherever, they like a city, and that was a big change. And now another big change is that when I look to the market, that a lot of people are want to live in Spain permanently. And my opinion is that has to do with Corona, with the COVID period. Because of that period, a lot of people has to work on distance, and yeah, that gives more opportunities. So also for rental market, people can now say, for example, you're based in Amsterdam, and you're allowed to work 3 months from Spain. And people said, yeah, I like to go there in winter, for example, to Moraira or Gabia, and rent a property there. And that was before COVID. That was not the case, because actually it was very quiet in that areas, and now it's on for 24 hours, 12 months a year.
Yeah.
So that's also a big change, and people likes to have freedom, I always say freedom of weather, which means if you're in London or Northern Europe and you said, yeah, we have a barbecue in 2 weeks. Yeah, well, let's see what the weather does, and that's not the case here. So you can do outdoor what you want.
Yeah.
And that's what people like. Yeah, and because and the food and everything. Well, you're here also for longer than me, so you know how that works. Yeah.
So you mentioned about remote workers and COVID and people buying here, to live here permanently. And what about like the investor type clients? Because, people were gravitating towards Barcelona, and then you've got all the political issues there and the rent caps. So do you have investor clients?
Yeah. Actually, I think it's 4 months ago. It was before the new administration was elected in Holland. There was a news item, and we were happy to take part of that as well. And actually, that was about the situation, because due to government rules, they make some decisions, which means that investors in Holland are now selling all their properties because they cannot make any money out of it anymore. And with that money coming in, they want to invest in other countries. So yes, we have lots of clients who are now buying properties, for example, in Valencia city center, and convert them and starting renting out. Of course, all in line with the new rental legislations since more than 1 year. So not touristic, but midterm, because we have to keep an eye also, of course, on the locals. And I fully understand that. And it's all about neighbors making noise, checking in, checking out when it comes down to Airbnb. So the government in Spain took action on that, and that's a good thing. And it's still profitable for investors to have a property renting out on midterm or long term. If you compare it, for example, with Holland, which is not really profitable anymore. So in my eyes, the Dutch government makes a big decision, a bad decision, lots of money is running out the country now because those investors succeed in Spain or whatever other countries. So yes, that's a new big target group as well. Yeah, yeah.
No, absolutely. And coming back to partnerships, have you ever
Yeah.
had any bad experiences where they might be good for business but not good for the client? You've stopped working with them?
Now it is, yeah, but then it's all about the quality of the collaboration and the partner. Because we bring clients, so yeah, it would be very stupid as a collaborator to, yeah, not really picking up that. But most of the time, we decide that that is not a good partner because of the quality of how they present, for example, properties or how they drive around with our clients. That's actually the most important thing. So as soon as we get several times negative feedback from a certain partner, for example, in the south of Costa del Sol, then we take action. But I must say, since 2 or 3 years, the collaboration network of agents is okay. So not a lot of complaints. And of course, the same for mortgages. Now we're more than happy, of course, with Mortgage Direct. But we always, asking for feedback of the clients, because something can happen in an organization, which is new people coming in, for example, which are not really approaching our clients in a nice way, as an example. Yeah. And the good point is, if you have a long collaboration, you can talk about that, because I think, for example, Mortgage Direct of another company likes to have feedback also from their collaborators to learn, to improve. In that way. Yeah, so that's important. We're always checking how our network is acting towards our clients.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, obviously you're independent, working with numerous agents, offering clients a huge range of properties. And if you were sort of selling your own portfolio, it'd be a lot different. So there's obviously a huge advantage to what you do, and clients gain trust in that. Do you feel? Because it must be quite a bit of stress behind the scenes, setting all these collaborations up.
Of course, and in the early years, we were just starting, and it's a complex way of working. And as you mentioned, if you have, for example, 20 properties you have to sell, that's quite easy. But actually, our portfolio is the market, because that's the way how the Spanish real estate market is organized. Nobody has an exclusivity of selling a property, which means that gives us, as a buying agent, the possibilities to offer everything. And we are offering the properties of our agents on our web portals, because they are the premium partners, so to say, but we're not fixed to that. We have now 4,000 or 5,000 properties running on our websites. We get a lot of requests on that, but if people said, hey, I found a property which is not on your website, we can help them with that as well, because that's how it works in Spain. And that's completely different from Holland, for example. Gives us the possibility to find the right property to the budget and the needs of the client, instead of pushing just 20 properties because they are in your window. That's not how we work.
Yeah. So going back to when you started, what would you say the main lessons are that you've learned to bring your business where it is
keep
today? Absolutely.
Take it on the chin and keep going. Because, of course, we had a lot of disappointments actually, when you start a business, is always difficult. But keep going. And later on, I think the lesson is keep focused, because as entrepreneur, you see loads of loads of possibilities, and it's better to focus on the things you're doing now and to improve. And yes, of course, you can sometimes connect a new business because it fits in the organization. But for example, a good example is, yes, we can help people who want to rent out, but we are not into rentals ourselves. That is really a good decision, I think, from our point. It could fit in the business, because if we sell a property to a client and they ask, okay, I'm looking for somebody who can rent it out, it would be very logic if we can do it as well, because we're in the same organization. but that's a complete different thing. And we decided not to go into rentals. Yes, we know who can help our clients in our network, and I think that's a good good example to be focused, to stay focused, because you have to hire new people. It's a complete different ballgame.
Yeah.
And we're already quite busy what we're doing now, so we keep it that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give an international buyer buying in Spain today?
Now, first, visit our website, of course, and be prepared. In other countries, for example, you can pick a property and you start the negotiations, and you have the price negotiated, and then you have to check if you can actually afford it, if you can buy it. And we said, okay, first do, for example, a pre-check via Mortgage Direct. You know what you can buy, you know that you can have a mortgage, and then go to market instead of just running around and pick some properties, and in the end of the day you cannot afford it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pity for everybody. It saves us time, of course, and so we always try to prepare our client. Be prepared to go to Spanish market, because it's a fast-moving market. So do your homework. That's actually what I want to tell.
Great advice.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And in terms of like the client buyer profile, have you seen a change from today to when you started back then?
In the early days, so to say, sounds like an old man, but in the early days, people finish their job at 65 or 66 or whatever, and then start enjoying their life, which means buying a property in Spain, for example. But nowadays, people can afford it earlier, and the buyers are also getting younger, so to say. Also, complete families moving out now. That's really a big difference, which means that you have to look at schools in the surroundings, etc. Also, the influencers, they have a lot of money, and they like to show, of course, also that they have the money. So, I think in general, people are getting younger buying second home properties.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big difference. And of course, what I earlier mentioned, people are buying in cities, because that was not the case when we started. Everybody was looking for a villa and a pool, and now it's a nice apartment or a penthouse in the middle of Valencia or Alicante or whatever. That's also a new market, and that has to do also with the age, because most of the time people buying in a city are younger, besides, of course, the investors.
Do you think there are other cities, apart from the main hotspots, that we're aware of that people will start gravitating towards because maybe lower prices?
Yes, but it's difficult. The thing is, in Valencia, you can add value to a property if you compare it, for example, with Barcelona and Madrid, which are having high square meter prices. People are now discovering actually Valencia. But the thing is, if you're an investor, for example, and you invest in a city, you like to have profit at once after a renovation or whatsoever. So yes, you can buy low in certain areas of Valencia, for example, but then you're not in really the good areas, which means if you want to rent out, it's not really attractive for people to go there. So, and you are, as an investor, you cannot wait for the development of an area. Good example, for example, is Cabanyal, close to the coast. That was not really a good area, let's say 10 years ago. And now, due to investors, because reforming the houses, etc., it's now really, would not say a posh area, but it's now, they brought it to another level. So square meter prices are also increasing there, but it takes time. So yes, there are still a lot of possibilities, but as an investor or a buyer, you really have to check if the area is okay. Valencia is, of course, a good city to go through. And now you see, for example, Alicante as well. Actually, it's the usual suspects, to be honest, and depends also on town hall of the city, what the plans are. Are they're still welcoming investors under certain rules, so to say, because again, locals, of course, are the most important, and we need to keep everybody happy. Otherwise, it's not going to work anyway. So, I would say check the different areas in the usual suspects. That's the thing where you can invest. Yeah.
Oh, great answer.
Yeah.
And in terms of investors, because one thing I always find curious, because some investors just want to flip a property, don't they? And you mentioned making a quick profit. The taxes are so much higher in Spain, certainly than they are in the UK, and I'm not sure about in the Netherlands. But do you come across many investors who do flip successfully?
The thing is, if you want to have the advantage of increasing the prices, it needs time because, as you know, you have to pay in Valencia already 10% when it comes down to taxes. And yes, market is now growing. Depends on the area, 10 to 15% per year, 1.5. But it depends. So if you want to make profit, you have to take a little bit more time because the market is not growing that fast to cover your expenses and not even the money you invest in the property. So flippers is not really, that was a couple of years ago, we had loads of them. You could buy for 100,000 euros a property and you flip it and you could easily sell it for, let's say, 190 or nearly 200,000 euros. But that's done. So the investors now buying properties are really into long-term and mid-term rentals. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. And sort of bringing this all to a close, Erwin, I mean, I visited your lovely new office in Valencia last year, and, I'm just seeing you expand, all the new areas on your website as well. Are there any, what does the future hold for you and what are your plans?
Doing things better we're doing now. That's really, and keep focused also. The thing is, we are living, and that's my opinion, we're living now in a review environment. If I go to a new restaurant or I check the reviews, how many stars I would have to pay there. So we have now more than almost 50 reviews, nearly 5 stars, which is really high, and that brings in clients as well. So we need to do a good job and focusing on that. And actually, it's more improving than connecting new businesses, because yes, there are loads of opportunities, of course, but again, you have to stay focused. That's really important. And having a good team, I think we're doing a good job with the team we're having now. We're now with 14 people, the happy client is always the most important, because I always say, they're paying your salaries, and also, of course, that the mouth-to-mouth advertisement, as we call it, is also really important. And so with Spaanse Droomhuizen and Makelaar Valencia, which are our Dutch labels, we're doing a good job, and internationally as well, more in Valencia city than in our other office in Moreira. But we have a lot of work, so to say, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you had a crystal ball, how would you predict the next 20 years in the property market in Spain?
20 years is really a long time.
Or 10 years.
We have a lot of new stuff coming in, like AI, for example. And yes, that will having influences on the market as well, and the way of approaching clients and help clients, of course. But my opinion is, as long as there is emotion in buying something, you cannot replace that via AI. We will still have loads of work to do, and we can improve our services towards the clients using the right tools, and AI is an example of that. There will be a change, but in the end, you need somebody who opens the door, I think. And again, there is always, with buying a property, emotion involved. So that's our thing. And the market, if I look, for example, to the Dutch market, because that's our main target group, yeah, depends also how the administration will act. But there are a lot of buyers, and in the end of the day, I think this is not happening in 5 years. It's straight in 5 years. I cannot imagine that, because then nobody is living in Holland anymore. But no, but yeah, Spain will be always interested for people because of the climate, and as long as the sun is shining, people will buying properties, and it's our goal then to help them out. Of course, that's what we do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much again, Erwin.
Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure having you on today's episode. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. What this conversation really brings home is that in a market like Spain, success is rarely about acting alone. It's about building the right relationships, surrounding the client with the right people, and creating a process that feels joined up rather than fragmented. Because behind every successful purchase, there isn't just one good decision. There's a network of good decisions and the professionals behind them. And that really is what this chapter has been about. Not just partnerships as a business tool, but partnerships as something that creates confidence. Erwin, thank you for sharing your perspective with us. This was Chapter 5 in 20 Years of Mortgages by Mortgage Direct. Each episode explores a moment that shaped how international buyers navigate Spain and what those moments still teach us today. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next chapter.